Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish.
Hey guys, welcome back to Generation Y. My name is Mark, and I'm with my lovely American co-host Dan. And just want to say a huge thanks to Devon Tracy, and all of the Flying Monkeys, all of his fans. I've been one of them myself a few times, and we went up. We've only been around for 6 or 7 days, but we went up from 6 subscribers or 5 to 549 at the time of doing this. So thank you so much. I hope that we can give you something that you enjoy, and I hope that you'll stick with us and maybe share it with some of your friends. And how you doing, Dan?
Doing pretty good. I would like to also give my my humility or humble thanks to Devon Tracy, the guy that doesn't believe in God, but he himself plays God, which is always fun. You know, like and seriously, I didn't really know who Devon Tracy was, but I listened to some of your guys' conversation. I think the fairest thing I can say about him is that you will agree with him as much as you will disagree with him. So, pretty nuanced guy. Like, you know, he's got a lot of different beliefs. And that's cool. So thank you guys for at least coming over, giving us a shot, giving us a chance. And I hope you're fucking ready, because we're about to set this world ablaze. Let's have some fun. Let's have some good times. And today we're gonna start with our normal, scheduled programming with some news stories. So if you're new here, this is kind of what we do. We talk about some big news events, usually 3 or 4 big news stories. And then we have a main topic of discussion for the day, which today will be based on critical race theory and how it's being applied in schools. And I just want to make that very clear before we hear any crap about, we're not teaching it in critical race theory in schools. Well, let me tell you something. No, you're correct. You're 100% correct. They're applying it. Critical race applied praxis. Okay?
To everything.
That's to everything. Okay. So let's start off with something there's not a lot out yet. Internet troubles in this country and such, and I think there's just a lot of stuff going on. Cuba, communist Cuba. The people are sick of the nationalized medical system, sick of all the crap, all the poor people. Oh, their literacy rates are good. Well, let me just say this. They are marching down the street with American flags saying freedom, liberty. And what the hell do we have here? A bunch of sourpuss Americans that grew up in their little creature comforts freaking out that, oh, daddy doesn't believe I'm a boy man demon. Well, I'll tell you this. No one gives a shit anymore. And I'm done with these people. I'm done. What I'm going to say to them is, I don't fucking care what you are. How about that? Let's just like, I don't care.
I don't think many people do anymore.
Dude, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. You're like, I just want to be you, dude. Don't mess with kids and just be you. But anyway, so Cuba, I mean, we're talking the largest protest movement, I think they're saying ever. I mean, you're seeing police join in, even military guys put their guns down. These people are starving, hungry. It's pretty interesting. So what does that make you feel seeing, like, I guess like these people, these have no guns. They have no guns, nothing. They're going against the military. How does that make you feel? Like, they went to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Just saying, it's not an insurrection though. It's a peaceful protest, as they would. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, once you give, I don't want to make this our thing is not all about guns and all this, trying to keep your guns, but it is very important. I think, particularly in certain types of countries, more so than others. But once you've given up that stuff, you're not going to get it back. Like, I don't think we've ever seen a country where people have gotten it back. I'm happy that these people are giving me that look.
No, I was just saying, I was like, there is one country I could think of.
Which country is that?
America. They tried to take our guns. The English.
But they never actually took them.
Oh yeah, they were going.
Okay.
They were going.
Oh,
They were. It wasn't official. Okay, yes, they didn't pass.
I'll say that in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Like,
you're screwed.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's good to see them do that. I feel sorry for the Cubans. Like a beautiful country, and they've suffered through a lot of ups and downs, and as we've seen through pretty much all communist regimes, you have the few at the top, and they're nothing other than thieves. They're just upper class thieves, and they steal from everybody else. And that's made the Cuban people, very kind of I can't remember the word, but people that can do a lot from nothing. Like it's crazy when you go over there and you see their cars, and when the engines die, and they're not allowed to buy American parts. So if they have a Chevy Bel Air or something like a '55 Bel Air, the engine pops. They're not allowed to buy spares from America, and so they'll get like a tractor diesel engine, and they'll just stick that in the Chevy Bel Air, and they make it work, man. And if they don't have a fan belt or an auxiliary belt, they'll just fashion a belt from something, and they make it work. So imagine if they had a more free market and less. And look, it's definitely not only Cuba's fault. But yeah, if they had a bit of a freer life and they had a bit of a freer market, I think these people could be serious top of the tree. And I hope they get that.
I think any human being can if they're given
Yeah,
the
but
right resources around them.
Yeah, but I think the people in Cuba at the moment, after what they've been through,
Absolutely
would do better if they were allowed off the metaphorical leash than, say, even someone from my country. We've been conditioned to become much softer, much more reliant on daddy government, and so on and so forth. And there's a place for that to a degree, but it definitely weakens people. And that's just my personal opinion. I think the Cubans would be even better than they already are if they had a slightly freer country.
It makes me proud to say that, and this is why in America we have to fight harder. We are the symbol of freedom in Hong Kong, in democracy across the world. And the thing is, this is not a democracy, just first and foremost. People need to understand we do not live in a true democracy, a direct democracy. We live in a constitutional
representational.
It's called a constitutional republic.
Right.
With the Constitution outlines that there will be democracy, but the republic is what stands. That's what the main point. The Constitution is what is supposed to make the republic do what it's supposed to do. And just like communist China or Lenin or any type of really bad guy. I don't even need labels. Just evil people, emperors, dictators. Do we have the same thing here in America? And we need to realize it's no good, man. It's no good what we have happening in our country. And I just really hope because when you see the Cubans and you talk to Cubans, they're the most especially people in Florida and stuff. I have friends that I know that joined the military. I mean, my God, you want to talk about red, white, and blue. You want to talk about people that are more hard because they know what it's like to have nothing. And all these liberal, actually, I'm not even going to call them liberal. These activist journalists. Activist journalists are lying to people and trying to say Fidel Castro was a good guy. Let's just do very quick what Fidel Castro did. Just a couple things. If you were gay, you were killed. He killed gay people, lined them up and shot them. Okay. When there was another revolution in their country because they didn't like with Bay of Pigs, that was a revolution that we helped facilitate. Crush those people. Actually, a lot of those people that were a part of Bay of Pigs started big mafia stuff in Florida, but they started the Cuban gangs. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I just say America needs to realize that we are really the last bastion of everything. I don't think people were and if that goes, that's scary because
it is scary.
It is weird. It is bad.
I think sometimes a lot of people look that there are many lovely countries in the world. There are not that many, very free countries, and especially free countries that are large and have an influence on other countries. And so when people say, like Joe Biden, well, try not to bring politics into it. When some people say they can't think of a way of describing Americanism, like what it is to be an American, and I know that it's a cliche, but it is freedom, and that goes around the world, and people definitely, like it or not, they definitely look to America as the bastion of freedom. America is the shining city on the hill. Whatever people want to say, it has its faults. Many countries do, but you can't deny that. And so I think it's great to see. And I'll just give you one name: Jorge Masvidal. George Masvidal supported Trump. That took balls the size of medicine balls. Like,
especially in today's sport climate, like
that's,
this, all
that's what
these
I'm saying.
people.
Right.
You know what? They don't, and they don't. This is the problem. It's like what I've seen, and there's a lot of grifters out there. First and foremost, whether it's lawyers and like Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, and these guys for all the election stuff. There's grifters everywhere just trying to make money, but like you see how prominent. I'm getting so sick of these labels, man. I'm so fucking tired of having to be like minorities. The minorities. I was like, no, I don't even know if they're Americans, man. We got to stop looking at each other like we're like this enemy class system. Yes, there's poor people. We should help poor people. This is not complicated. But I don't think it should be government charity. It should be a different type of charity. Like how the church used to be big about charity, the Catholic Church, for example. While they were molesting children, it kind of all makes sense now. They were paying for it. Awful. But I don't know. Well, I think it signifies, let's wrap up this story. There's not a lot of information, but I'm proud of the Cubans. The Cubans are some of the most, it's like Mexicans and Cubans. Like you sit there and go, these people cross deserts, cross thousands of miles or whatever to get to America. I just don't think the way America is doing it is right. I just don't think the way we're handling it is right. I understand why these people want to come. And I'm not talking about criminals. But like Cubans are more American than most Americans right now. And so are more Mexicans, like traversing across these terrible, dangerous paths, are acting more American. And we should take those people that are not criminals and not violent offenders and blah, 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 blah. And those people should be let in our country. No doubt in my mind, they should be. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think to me it's a little bit more. I hate that word, but I'll use it because I can't think of another one. I think it's a bit more nuanced than that for me. But yeah, I mean, like I think so from what I see, through YouTube and other things, like I don't have any first-hand experience. The last time I was down there was like 18 years ago. Last time I was at the California border to Mexico. But like I see an awful lot of Hispanics that are really American, man, like super American.
But that's my point.
Kind of, yeah, no, I know. But all I'm saying, that's why I'm saying it's nuanced, because with that, 100% agree with you. But what you cannot have happen is just like anybody that wants to come and anybody. But this isn't an immigration thing. But from my country, you can see a massive effect on hospitals, schools, and stuff like that. And I just think that you have to be a little bit careful just opening the doors.
Well, I'm not saying open the doors. I'm saying having a three-stage area section. So you have Mexico, and you have A, B area, and C area. A area is where you get and made sure that you're not a criminal. They have to call your embassy, what nation you're from. You have to have official documentation. If you don't, you're out. And then move on to B area, which is where you're going to have more of like waiting to see what like the findings are and like what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then C area is you're gaining entry into the country. You have to have a good vetting process. And that's it. Like, I don't want somebody who's a rapist, a pedophile, a drug guy, kingpin dude, or whoever, a murderer. I don't want them in our country. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We got enough of those here already. So we don't need more,
We could just swap. Anybody that's woke, we could just swap them. We could do like on the border. Like, do you like America? Do you want to be American?
No, like just like, okay, this is what we will take all of California.
My friend, blue-haired whale. Yeah, blue-haired whale. You are going to El Salvador.
You know what we do? Do you know? In America, we had these two big ships. I think one was like Hope and Mercy, and it was like for COVID response. Just send that ship down. Take all the socialists and communists and just be like, all right, you're getting on. And then we go drop them off in Cuba and like, there's your new people. And we'll take the Cubans.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
That's it. But they won't do it. These people are fake. They're the fakest people on earth. But anyway, so I think it'd be good to kind of jump over to another recent, interesting overseas story for me and for you. So this is fun. Haiti president gets assassinated. His wife gets shot as well. I believe she survived. She ended up getting flown to the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, they say they caught the guys. Like, I guess, like, because they say they caught them. I think they caught like 20 people.
Yeah,
Or
they
all
caught.
escaped or something.
They definitely caught a bunch of people. I can't remember because the first time I read it said 5, but I haven't read the story in a couple of days.
Maybe it was 5. I just know they caught some people, and some of them were
ATF.
no. What?
One of them was
Shut your
identified as
mouth.
ATF.
Shut your.
I will not shut my mouth because that is what I was told.
My
Could
America
be
would
wrong.
assassinate a foreign adversary or ally, whatever. I don't even know if it's an ally.
I just found it weird that it was ATF because
Wait,
obviously.
you're serious?
Yeah. Well, I'm serious that I read that from a reasonably reputable source. Always do your homework and fact check me. But obviously, most of them were American, weren't they? Like the assassins were.
Well,
American.
I know 2 of them were. I didn't know one of them.
Yeah.
This is the.
And do you remember? Do you know what I just thought?
Yeah.
Anyway, do you remember when the mercenaries got stopped coming into? Was it? Oh, what? I think it was somewhere in the Caribbean, or oh no, I'll tell you where it was. I've got terrible memory, but it was it's the big Venezuela. Do you remember last year they caught those
Oh, the
American
Green Beret
mercenaries
guys.
going onto the beach? Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, they were retired guys. They weren't active. They were like retired, as far
Right.
as I understood it. No, it was
Oh
probably.
no, I don't think any of them are active. I think, as far as I know, all of these people are
No,
mercenaries.
they're CIA black sites. They have them all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have. I guess can't say much, but I know people
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's very common to be reached out to.
I know people.
Yeah, I know people who know people who do things to people.
The particular set of skills.
I do know. I know one guy in particular that I just like. They've gotten offers to go do things, and like to go, through the subsidiary agencies.
So he's assassinated. His wife is seriously injured, flown to Florida for emergency medical attention. What reason can you think? I mean, I've heard conspiracies. I'm not sure. People were saying that because they were refusing the vaccine and they wanted to take. Oh, I can't even say that word here. Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? But they wanted to take.
Look at my shirt, people. I just want to say, look at my fucking shirt. Goliath. Okay. It's go check out Dark Horse Podcast, Heather Hying and Brett Weinstein. They're fighting back against big tech and as the best that they could. Go follow them on the Odysee. But anyway, it's like we live in a communist we do. Like, you know how the Russians used to like listen to everyone's phone calls? Like, we're doing that now, bro. Like, it's happening.
Yeah, I would say more sort of not authoritarian, perhaps totalitarian, like where they want to have an influence on everybody's lives. They want to know as much information as possible, rather than necessarily communist, but very in common with the communists, what they do.
I know. I mean, like, it's like evil. It's just evil. Let's just call it what it is. It's evil.
Yeah, it's not good stuff. I mean, look at YouTube itself. Like, you remember the amount of times you have to hold your tongue, like you're talking away, we're having a chat, and then you go to say something and you're like,
you can't say that guy's name that was involved with the CIA guy or whatever. And they deleted Rand Paul's video of him in the Senate during an impeachment. Justice Roberts wouldn't even ask the question because they were giving questions that they got like he wouldn't read it. He's like, I'm not reading that, and put it down.
What is going on with Roberts, man? He is a fucking...
They all suck. Except Thomas. I love Thomas.
I was gonna say I kind of dig that dude.
Dude, Clarence Thomas is a real gangster. Dude. He's an OG, but no pun intended because he is black. But yeah.
He's still an OG.
Okay. But Haiti, I don't really know. I think Haiti, it's confusing to me because, I mean, I hate saying this word. I hate saying these words in conjunction, but it is connected to the Hillary Clinton and like her foundation. I know, but I'm not saying that's why this happened. But do you know the history of $30 million were raised by the Clinton Foundation to go to Haiti, and they built like a shitty little warehouse. Epstein used to traffic girls from there, young women there from all the time. There's some weird connections. I'm not trying to make connections that shouldn't be there. I'm just gonna state that I don't know if any has any connection. It just makes me think.
Well, there's nothing wrong with asking why.
That's right. That's right, man. Don't suppress my feelings, my man. Haiti's a really. I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, the guy got schwacked. There was Spanish talking people. There was English voices, like American sounding voices there. And I guess I didn't get to see the ATF agent. But if there's an ATF agent,
Why
active,
ATF?
dude,
I couldn't think why it'd be an ATF.
it's like it's complicated. I mean, it is because so technically, the ATF is supposed to work like for America, right? But let's say they're chasing an American to Cuba or to Haiti. It's supposed to be the CIA, but things get blurry, dude. Things get really blurry.
Yeah, they do. I mean, maybe he was just an ex-ATF. Maybe he was an ex-ATF agent who's now working as a merc.
That could be true too. I mean, I've been offered jobs just to go do like things in like Korea, like South Korea, like work up there on the borders and stuff.
Serious money, man. Serious money.
Dude, they were gonna pay for my hotel, my apartment the entire time I was there. They're gonna pay for my car. I would get a food allowance every month, and it was like I think like $800 for my food allowance. And then I was gonna get 6 figures on top of that.
Yeah, it's just that meets up exactly what I've heard in this country for like ex Royal Marines and people like that. You know, they get serious money for even just being bodyguards to kind of rising states or like a second world country as leaders, and just even the politicians, like they get crazy money for like, can you just go after him? He wants to go to a football match. You know, can you just fly out for the weekend? We'll give you 30 grand.
Yep.
And it's like, whoa. But, you know, fair enough if you can make the money and you're not causing any internal strife with that country.
Well, the thing is, I have a suspicion that if the American press, like when we got to be really careful. Just think about how much they lie, they manipulate, like constantly. Do you know in America anyway, 58% of Americans view the press as enemy of the people? 58%.
I would say that's crazy, but I think it should be higher.
Yeah, I think it should be 100%. You know, but I'm gonna say probably 20 to 30% of that, like what's left, is probably like older, you know, fucking like 80s, 60s, like they're just chilling, they're retired, they're living their good lives on the beach, and they're just like CNBC or whatever, you know.
I 100% think you're right, but the one thing I also think is super, super cool is I've spoken online. We also have a couple of followers who this is the case for, who are in that demographic, you know, retired.
Yeah,
and they're really awake on subjects like this. You know, they've definitely had their eyes open.
I mean, you can't. We need them. We need old people to wake up more than anybody because they're the ones with the life experience. Like my grandmother. Like you know, we'll probably move on from this. Haiti, I guess, is kind of, you know, we don't know. That's what we know.
I don't think we'll know. Yeah, I don't think we'll know for a few weeks until we find out who the new leader is, what his politics are, what happened, you know, what the lady said, and we may never know, but we won't know much for a few weeks.
It's like Saddam Hussein getting trained by the CIA in the 60s in Egypt. I mean, look, that's a fact. Unclassified American documents prove that Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden had both worked for the CIA in some capacity. But definitely, I'm not sure about Osama, but I'm like 100% positive about Saddam Hussein.
Osama definitely worked for one of the big Western intelligence agencies because he was.
It was during the Afghanistan, Russia era.
That's
like,
right.
All that crazy, yeah.
He was very young. He was very young.
The Mujahideen.
That's right.
Yeah, the Mujahideen. I did it, man. Listen, you're training me. You are my new government. You are my god. I think we won't know for a while, man. It's just like not many things are like Bay of the Pigs, you know, because Bay of Pigs was literally like a national like travesty. It was like almost started a nuclear war. It was a big deal.
Yeah. And
And honestly, like, it was pretty odd, kind of ballsy. It was a little ballsy. And also horribly planned. Like, what were you thinking, dude? Strategically, it's like, what?
A lot of faith as well. I think it took a hell of a lot of faith to
Yeah.
think would come off.
Well, I mean, because I don't think anyone really who is in a communist country really loves communism. I just don't think I personally would be like, it's kind of like you got to wake up. But like I was saying before, we need old people, and we need old people because they have experience. Like I was talking to my grandmother. She's like 75, 76 years old, and she watches CNN, MSNBC. She hated Trump. She's a lifelong Democrat. And I started going through with her like over Trump's policies. And I'm like, what do you hate besides the man? What do you hate about him? And she knows a lot. She really does about like all kinds. She grew up in politics. She was a mayor of a small town. So she was like heavily involved in politics her whole life. But when I showed her the Hunter Biden story that was blocked by the New York Post, and then I showed her some images that were on that laptop, like involving children, she almost had like a psychological breakdown for like 5 minutes. I was like, this was blocked by all big tech, and the news wouldn't talk about it. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like they blocked so much stuff, and then they came out. I think we talked about this before. Then they came out and sort of said, "Sorry, technical difficulties," and it's like, yeah, technical difficulties that you managed to block every single negative story about the Democratic presidential candidate's family, but not the other one. Technical difficulties.
Do you know who Midas Touch is?
No, I only know
Midas Touch is like a left wing, like far left, like I think they have a like a news agency sort of, but they do a lot of like those short 2-minute videos, like propaganda for their side. And they did one today. It has like 4 million views. It's like Trump is domestic terrorist, and like you're just like, and it was paid for by Secure Vote Blue. So you're like, they were paid for by the Democrats. They paid them to write, like, to make this nasty, everything's out of context, just these weird clips and of Trump being like, you need to go to the Capitol and fight. And then it shows people breaking in and stuff. And you're kind of like, man, fucking chill. Why are they escalating? Why are you trying to escalate shit? What is your end? You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to get us all arrested.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with that to me just seems completely ridiculous because for one, he's not in power. Like, it's just relax. Stop talking about Trump all the time.
I think he is in power more than not like QAnon theory power. I mean, dude, that guy's running.
I get it. He's like a kingmaker, but I'm saying he's not president. So please.
He's more powerful than the president right now. 100%.
More powerful. I disagree, but
not in a literal.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. What you're saying.
You think Joe Biden has more impact on the world than Trump does right now? Like, or at least our country?
Well, not our country. So I can tell you that as much as Europe, where I obviously am, although not in the EU, but like, I can tell you that Europe views Biden. They definitely, even the ones that are left, view Biden as a kind of a senile old dude that is probably, and then this is not my opinion, this is theirs. So I'm not this naive. They view him as somebody that's probably a bit senile, is a career politician, is probably somewhat corrupt. But they also, for these people that hate Trump, he's not Trump. And to them, when I say like I disagree that Trump has more power, is that like Biden is doing these funky deals with Russia behind closed doors, because obviously he doesn't want his side to see him cozying up with the people that they have vilified for the last however many years. And whereas, if he wanted to send a fleet of battleships into XC, he could do that, whereas Trump couldn't. But I totally understand that President Trump is still an enormous culture warrior, arguably one of the leaders. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get too into that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we will move on to England football. So you guys had the Euro Cup last night.
I know. Yeah, we did. So I would like to say, oh, mm,
I know.
congratulations, Italy.
No, dude, did you?
So,
I can't believe you didn't laugh when I sent you that picture of the guy's name on the Italy team, named Lasagna, and I'm like, they're gonna
I
eat him
did
alive.
laugh, dude. I sent it to my whole family, and everybody laughed.
See, I'm just saying, was I on a roll yesterday? Was I keeping your spirits
Absolutely.
up a little bit? I was.
You were 100%,
I was
100%.
ripping, dude. I was the stuff I was saying. I was like, how am I coming up with this on the spot, like in the
Yeah,
moment? I was like,
it was
yes.
amazing. Dan was keeping me sane. So for those that don't follow football, soccer, whatever.
No football. Don't you own that word? That's your guys' word, man.
Okay, football. So
Not that.
not this type of football.
Why didn't they just call it handball? Makes more sense.
Yeah,
But anyway.
maybe. So yeah, so it was basically the Euro finals. So I don't know, I can't remember how many teams. I think it was seven. I think it was 7 groups of 4 teams, and obviously you get the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and the finals. England made it to the finals, beat a couple of good teams on the way through. Beat Germany 4-1, and was it? No, we didn't. I'm telling a lie. We beat the Ukraine 4-0 or 4-1, and we did beat Germany. Got through to the final with Italy. Italy is one of those teams that has always been very good at football. One of the best. Always like one of the top 5 teams in the world, if not top 3. But recently they kind of had a funny patch. Like they didn't even qualify for the World Cup. I think it was either the last one or the one before that. Sometime in the last.
That's every 4 years, right? The
Right,
World
right,
Cup.
right. Yeah. And it's a huge thing. I think it's one of like the most profitable sports events because obviously sport is massive in America, but they're all very American-centric sports. You know, I know there are countries that like basketball and American gridiron football and baseball, like Japan, Korea. They like those American sports.
China.
Right. China love basketball, but yeah, I mean, but outside of that, it's huge. So anyway, we got into the final. You normally have 90 minutes. If you're drawing after 90 minutes, you have 30 minutes of extra time. If you're still drawing, you go to penalties, where each side has 5 penalties. So you place the ball, I can't remember what the exact figure is, something like 10 yards away from the goal, you know, and it's just the goalie in the goal and
That's a
just
big
the
goal
striker.
too.
It's a
That's not
massive goal, dude. Like
like
I'm a
it's
big dude,
insane.
and when I stand in the goal, because my son's a goalie, like when I stand in that goal, it feels like there's 10, 12 feet each side of you. And I think it's 9 feet tall or something like that. And so basically there's an 85% chance every time that the guy is going to score the goal. Normally in penalty shootout, you get it where like one team misses 1 and another team misses 2. That's like the worst scenario. But I'd say normally one side misses none and the other side misses 1. And what happened was England, I think Italy scored the first one, and then I think England scored the first one, and then Italy missed, and then England scored, and Italy scored, and then England missed, and it was just like that. And basically, it ended up with Italy missing 2, England missing 3, which means that the score was 1-1 in regular time, and 3-2, meaning Italy win on penalties. Congratulations. I really hope they enjoy it because England won the Cricket World Cup 18 months ago, and it was it was a nice boost to the country. But the problem is, there were a couple of events that happened. One of them was because of like the whole COVID restrictions, and they had to keep a certain amount of space free because it was held in London, in Wimbledon, under Sadiq Khan's leadership.
Like
And
they literally thought that British people were gonna listen to them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the way you guys love football. I was watching the videos of people like storming. Look like what I saw on January 6th. People were just like rah, and just like tossing stuff, and you're like,
yeah.
I don't know why you have COVID restrictions anymore, bro. Just let it go. It's over.
Well, I think people are starting to, I mean, they were feeling like that for a while, but after anyway, what happened last night was people were really frustrated that in a stadium that can hold something like 120,000 thereabouts, they'd only sold like 65,000 or 70,000 tickets. So you kind of had people that were like, how often do we get into an actual final? Like we'll often make the semi-finals, but the actual final is pretty rare.
Well, this is a big deal. So this is like
Yeah, it
this
is
is
a
a
really big
rare.
deal.
So this is a rare event for your
It
country.
is. And so you had a lot of people that were like, why can't we watch? Like, you've got like 40, 50,000 spare seats. I can see them on the TV. Like, why can't we come in? I'm not condoning this. If they had paid, I'd actually be 100% behind them. If they were willing to say, like, here's the money for the ticket, but I'm not going to not watch when you've got all these people packed together going in and out. But then in terms of like the optics for what people see on TV, you're saying that we have to keep like every other stand free of people with no one there at all. But then when they leave, you've got like 10,000 people
It's
like
the
crammed
dumbest.
in next to each other.
It's like when you go to the restaurant and they make you put a mask on and then you go sit down and you take it off. You're like,
yeah, what was the point? Yeah, what was the point? So you had that where they kind of rushed in and that caused a bit of aggro. There's a couple of little punch ups. But the biggest thing that I was interested in was how, and look, it should go without saying that what I'm about to say should go without saying. It just so happened that the three people that missed for England, I believe 2 or 3 of them were young, either black or mixed race lads, but they were very young. And you should penalties are terrifying. Like, you can see people shaking when they're going to, because
do
you're
they
so
have the
expected
skill
to
though?
score it.
Do they?
have to
These guys are good. Do they have the skill? Are they
Yeah.
that skilled?
They're really good, but it's about strength of mind in that situation.
Fair enough.
Like when it's like, okay, you're an excellent footballer. You've got an enormous goal. You've got one dude that's standing in the goal. You've got a 9.5 out of 10 chance of scoring, and if you miss it, we lose this final. That makes people shook. That gets people shook. And these young lads were like, I think they were 18, 19, and 22. They should not have put the young lads up there. Now, I don't know whether it was Gareth Southgate, he's a bit lefty, a bit of I don't know though. But anyway, he's quite supportive of BLM. Many teams were kneeling, including England. Now, maybe some people kind of thought that he had chosen that as to kind of make a visual effect of, look, these guys have won us the game. But the downside was if they missed, which is sadly what happened, you had some drunk people, hurling like racist insults and crass jokes. But the amount was minuscule. It was like,
was it only online?
It was, yeah, online. It was mostly online.
So it wasn't like people running on the field, like
No.
physically assaulting these kids and being like, "You stupid," whatever word or other.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like
Words hurt.
It was yeah, straight to the heart. Yeah, it was all online. And my point about this, I'm sorry, I know this is long-winded, and if you don't follow football/soccer, then I know this is boring.
Suck it up. We don't give a shit. We talk about what we want.
But basically, my thoughts are just this morning. Every single newspaper were pictures of quotes of tweets and Facebook posts where drunk and angry and upset people had made very foolish remarks. Now, if there's a very tiny amount of people that do that, and like the moderators are knocking them off, which they were anyway, do you think the best thing for a group of young people in this country, even those 3 lads that missed the penalties, is the best thing to just not bring their attention to that? Or is it to plaster that all over every paper in the UK the next day?
It's about
so they wake up from losing a final. So they wake up from losing a final. They haven't heard any insults or anything like that. They're probably feeling really bad in themselves, which in my opinion they shouldn't. We did really well. They go to the front door and they get like 3 newspapers, or they go online and all these things like Britain's racist head, Britain's racist head rears again, or whatever. And you're just like, why does the media want everyone to hate themselves and each other? Because that's like kind of the end. But just as a side note, if you drive around a corner, let's say in a little village, low speed limit, you're doing the speed limit, and a big chunky guy is walking across the road, and he doesn't, like you kind of hope people would run the last couple of steps to get out of your way because you're the one that's on the road. You paid your road license, all the rest of it. But they kind of look at you and just carrying on ambling. And you're so angry that you just kind of pick the first adjective, like,
Yeah,
you
bastard.
fat bastard, like, you bald bastard, you white bastard, whatever. You just pick anything you can because you're a human, you're emotional, and you just want to throw something. You don't know what to do. I can't. So you throw something. You'd hope that most people are mature enough to not do that. Also, because it gives the other side, although I'll say the other quarter, because I kind of consider the far left to not be associated even with the moderate left, and obviously people, libertarians, and on the right. You're giving them ammunition, and people will say things that they don't mean when they are drunk and they've just lost a World Cup final. And yes, it's very disappointing, but like, is that a reason to cover the papers with all these things like institutional racism strikes again? The problem of racism has not gone away in the UK. And it's like, come on, this is not the right way of dealing with it. The media are generally horrible people, especially at the moment, the last 10 years. They want people to fight. They want people to hate themselves and each other. And it drives me mad.
I think it's working. And because like we talked about the environmental social governance score, and like they care about hits, they care about clicks, and they don't really care about that's it. It's sensationalism will guard them hits, and people like us will talk about it. Other people that watch this will go look it up. They get another hit. So it's really, I think part of the problem is that we talk about it too damn much, and we all do. This racism, this stuff, and then it's like, I'm not saying not to, but I just think it everybody in the world is like focusing on these 100 some odd people, and it's just going, who cares? If people just stopped caring about it and stopped letting the media run our emotional, it's like it's just our emotions and constantly manipulating us, and just realize if whatever you read in the news most likely is bullcrap, and it's framing and it's lies, and it doesn't have anything to do with. Do you know what happened last night? 3 young men were given an opportunity to win. And it's not that that's what happened. I don't and at the end of the day, I hope they're better for that. And I hate the fact that they can't just focus like, you know what? The coach gave this team, and he thought these were the best guys to win. Forget politics aside. That's what you're hoping as a fan. And you're like, but that's the problem when everything's so political. That's what your mind goes to. It's not even your fault because everything has become so like, why do you guys have Black Lives Matter in Britain? It's like, or in Europe.
Yeah.
It's like,
in
what
Japan.
Yeah, it's
Hands up,
stupid.
don't shoot her. Like, what?
So stupid, dude. That's what blew my mind. America, that's what we do. We affect the world. We something happens here, and then everyone starts picking it up. And the thing is, that's why in America we need to fight back harder than anybody, because we affect everybody. So like, and there's reasons for that, which we'll probably get into our next episode. There's multiple reasons, but I just, who gives a shit? Like the real thing is that they were given an opportunity. It sucks that it didn't go their way, and you had a couple jerks. But overall, you guys made it to the finals. Yeah. And you guys had a hell of a performance. You guys got cheated a couple times from what I hear. Yanking on jerseys. I saw some slide stuff you sent me. And
it was a rough game. It was a rough game.
They don't want. Yeah, I just hey, you know what? Fuck the news, man.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. I kind of get angry. I get angry myself sometimes for like falling into it, but it's because
you can't help it, dude. We can't help it.
I know that it's having an effect that I really disagree with. Like, what I would want to say to those kids this morning is, because they are kids, man, like 18, 19, 22. You don't know your ass from your elbow. No offense to anyone's watching this. I'm sure you know your ass from your elbow.
I don't. I honestly don't.
But they're young kids, and they were given opportunity. Should he have given the opportunity to such young lads? Probably not. Maybe, but they should be thinking was, oh, man, I loved that experience. We came so close. the next one, I'm going to work harder because the next one I'm taking that trophy home, man.
Exactly.
But instead, they're going to be thinking, oh, shit, my country's racist, man. And like, oh, they're going to get insults hurled at me. And even if they don't say that, to bed tonight and think like, Jesus, hate me for that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real thing is screw the media, dude. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
we don't
just
need
write
these.
the truth.
Yeah, just like, well, the thing is this: there is no truth. It's only what we can see with our eyes, and like sometimes, it's like you guys lost a football game. That's what happened.
Yep.
That's the end of the story. But
Yep.
they want to sensationalize and make it about race or sex or orientation or blah, 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 while Boris Johnson is probably planning on extending the lockdowns. And you're like, you know what I mean? Like, because they're going to get us all riled up. And then, by the way, we're going back to lockdowns because we're racist. They're going to start locking us down because we're racist next. Watch. They're going to be like, we have too much racism in this country. Everyone would sit at their home. Like, you think that's crazy? I don't know. They might even do climate stuff. I think climate lockdowns could really be a thing too. They're going to be doing weird shit. Unless people stand up. If you guys bring that same energy, you guys have a revolution in you. You just gotta not like not a violent revolution. Just everyone chill out. But like you guys have the strength and the mass of people. You just have to all agree. Treat it like a football game. So we have the next thing is also UK story. You go all lucky today. Nothing about America. That's good. Nothing to report this day. Man, am I breaking up a little bit?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're perfect.
I just thought I heard a little click or something. But we're gonna be talking about the Labour Party has funded a group called Mandinga Arts to go to the Red Library. I don't know, is that in London? The Red Library.
Do you know what? I've never even heard of that, but
yeah, I think it's London.
Talking now. Yeah,
it's red, and basically, let's just say to the least that there's some very unfavorable. It's for children. This event was paid for by if you're in the UK, your tax dollars to have this group come. And they have very sexually suggestive stuff. And I can read
Does it actually say to the Red Library? Because I can see a Red Library podcast which says it's a political education to educate today's
vision
youth
or something. I don't know. That's what they were calling it, the Red Library. That's what everyone I said library anyway. But basically, there was something that went viral. A picture of a weird looking rainbow colored nipples are exposed.
I didn't even know what that thing was. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a monkey. I think it was supposed to be a monkey of some sort of primate. And it has its dong. It has a dildo or a artificial penis. Phallus. And in front of children. And like, and a big one, mind you. Like, this is not like this is like a big, this is, for me, if I had this thing, I'd be proud. Like, that's a proud thing to have. But this, it was pretty crazy. And it's funded by the Labour Party. Like, I guess they were the ones that helped get this group to come in. And when you go to their website, there's pictures of people wearing pig costumes and BDSM type of material. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. Why would you be showing this to kids? And it's kind of just, why are they doing this? What is the benefit of walking around children with anatomically correct looking genitals?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I have an article right here. The Red Bridge Libraries Summer Reading Challenge left parents confused and outraged. They have a video of it.
Okay.
Jesus. It's basically the Red Bridge Library Reading Summer Program or something. The library did apologize. Blah blah blah.
So that's in Essex.
Yeah, that's where it is. I knew it was close. The Redbridge Libraries puts out a statement during an event put on a library today. Today, there was a performance by a Carnival Arts Company. Unfortunately, one of the animal costumes was inappropriate, which we were not aware of the time of booking. This will never happen again, basically. And this event was arranged by a group called Vision and not Redbridge Council upon receiving complaints. So I don't know what that means exactly. So, oh my God, dude, like this is so gross. Cause this is crazy. This is crazy. So another library commented on that post, which when it showed like an image from the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it says another library comment on that post was a shock when the monkey turned around. To which the Redbridge Library replied, even more shockingly, I know, monkey's out of control, with a laughing emoji. But when you've got it, flaunt it, I suppose. This reading challenge was for kids aged 4 to 14. Doing it in the open, dude.
Yeah,
in the
right.
open. This is my problem with these fucking people.
So I'll put this in when I edit it. I will put this in. So Hass Ahmed made a tweet where he shows people pictures of the various, the pigs in BDSM costumes.
That's probably where I got it from.
This bare-bottomed monkey dildo creature. Like if it wasn't around kids, yeah, right. That's exactly what I was saying. I would be laughing my balls off, and I kind of am. Except
that's like
for the
something
fact
you would see at Burning Man. Like Burning Man, like you're doing an LSD trip out in the woods. Some weird shit goes down.
Whoa. Look
but
at
like
that
why?
rainbow-colored bare-bottom monkey.
But if they're willing to do this right out in the wide open in public and expect no recourse, dude, this is predictive programming. This is social conditioning. This is encroachment.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Why else
weird,
do you show
man?
a rainbow-colored bare-bottomed monkey dildo to children if not social conditioning?
If this was the left, if this happened, something like this, like antiquatical to the left, they would have burned this place to the ground. They would have been protesting, massive protests, shaking the doors, spilling paint everywhere. But what does the right do? They go online and they're like, nah, this is bad. Like, dude, someone needs to like organize a protest, like a legitimate one. And I want not just like some internet apology. I want these people investigated. I want police involved. I want to know, because how is this not a crime?
Yeah.
Where's the criminality here?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I'm not sure.
It's indecent exposure.
Right. I mean, so Redbridge, obviously the people that did it, it was like an arts company. Mm-hmm. Or, like a carnival type, like Cirque du Soleil type people. So they were the ones that did it. But obviously with I presume, with the blessing of Redbridge Libraries. But I completely agree. I don't know what we're supposed to do anymore, like other than push back as hard as we can. And you are definitely seeing that. Like I know a lot of people are pushing because I have a child. He goes to school. He's recently changed. Like in our country, you go to one school until you're 11, and then you go to another school the rest of until you're 16, and then you go to college. At 16. And yeah, like when he was at junior school, they never said anything about anything. Like they never said anything about crazy stuff. But then literally like a month into his I guess you call it high school as well. So he's 11. They were I'll give you 4 examples. And this is in a variety of subjects, and this is what most people need to understand. They're not doing this in one particular lesson, like one particular subject. They do it in English. They have a subject called PD, which is like personal development, where they do it in that. They talk about stuff like this in drama. They talk about it in science. So this is not, just the arty subjects or just the weird subjects. This is all of them. So the first one was where they told him white people should not be in and around African charities. So that was the first thing that he came home and asked me about. The second thing that he talked to me about was when they spent 3 I think they did 3 lessons over about 2 weeks, where they talked to him about LGBTQIAA plus P whatever, and they basically one of the things they said to him was, you should never assume someone's gender. If you see someone, or and they're short and they wear makeup, you refer to them as she or her. You should refer to them as they or them until they've told you their pronouns. So that was another thing that they told my son at 11. Another thing they told him was that black people have a much harder life than white people, that all white people's lives are easier than black people, which I know for a fact black and white people would say is horse crap.
Well, the thing, what's the demographic of your country? Like what percentage? How many white people live in there?
So in 2017, it was still around 87% white, and the black population was 3%.
Right. Okay. So it's like in America, we are 70%, or I think
it's
60 or
60.5 for the last.
It might be 6. It might be 60 actually.
Yeah, we've been 60.5.
We've been falling in the demographics, which is fine. That's okay. Like I don't really think that's a big deal to me. But there's the people that are like America. Like how can you say that this in Britain? Like you have so many people that are poor, that are just like, and they're all white, like, or drug problems, violence, you name it. And in a place like Britain, you're like, how can you objectively say these things when 3% of the population is black? And it's like, that doesn't mean not help them, not think that they have maybe problems or whatever, because they're human beings. But that's pretty crazy. In America, it makes more sense because we're not homogenous or as homogenous as England. So it's like, I get why these arguments can be tried to be made here. I just have no idea how they're being made in the UK. It doesn't make sense.
No, I agree completely. I mean, like the people that came to our country, that are people of color, they didn't come 200 years ago under duress. Like they chose to come for a better life at most 50 years ago. At most 60 years ago. But that again, listen, that doesn't mean these sorts of things just go without saying. That doesn't mean that like they don't need help and we shouldn't be helping them. But yeah, and I should just quickly say, the figures of like 87%, that was from 2017. That was like last checked in 2017. I believe those figures are actually from the 2011 census, but apparently it was roughly the same in 2017. But we have just had a census. So we will find out, and I have no doubt that 87% figure will have dropped down to at least 80. I don't think we have any more than 80% white people in this country, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the other thing that they said to him, which I just thought I should quickly point out, was they asked his class to give an example of somebody famous in a position that deserves respect, but that particular person does not deserve respect. And when he told me that, first of all, I knew what they were going to do and what they were going to say. And second of all, I just thought, there is no reason to do that unless you're just trying to brainwash a child. And so obviously, these English school teachers, they're examples of people that are in a position that deserves respect, but those individuals do not deserve respect. Was President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And regardless of what you think of either of those people, because neither of them are perfect angels, but regardless of what you think of either of them, you can't be telling 11-year-old children that, A, our Prime Minister doesn't deserve respect, and B, that our biggest ally, their leader, doesn't deserve respect.
Can I point something out that I think we're missing here personally? Like, no offense to you or anything, but I think you're missing here. A lot of parents are. The schools should not be talking about politics, period.
That's my point.
Children.
This is my whole point.
Yeah. It's like politics, race, home. Those are you are raising your children, not them.
Correct.
So it's like, that's why I advocate for pulling your kids out of these institutions. State funded education is corrupt. They waste your money. Like, because certain amount of taxes go to the public schools, right? like per student?
Hold on, because over here we have the reverse. So over here, our state schools, which is a normal school, are all funded by the government.
No, that's what I'm
And then,
saying. No, we have that here too. We have that
okay,
here too. What I'm saying is, so like they get, per student, the school gets X amount of money per student.
right.
What do you know how much they do in your
I
school?
don't. I don't.
So like for example, in New
Oh,
York,
but I'll tell you just real quick before I forget it.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you one thing. We had to go around fundraising a couple of years ago to get our kids supplies for physical education.
I'm telling you, bro, nationalized shit sucks. It all sucks. It's a scam, dude. Like your tumor stuff would be fixed in the United States already. They would just be like, yeah, dude, we'll figure it out. We'll get you. You could buy a new liver. You can do that here. Like
From a Uyghur Muslim.
yeah. I mean, but hey, not my kidney, not my problem, or not my liver, not my problem. But it's I really do think in America, I think like New York is one of the highest. I think it's like $50,000 per student a year or something crazy. Like it's something insane. It's like 30,000. So think about this.
50,000.
It's something insane they spend per student. I'm not going to say specific numbers, but okay, let's say it's 10 to 15,000, 10 to 12,000 is pretty normal. So when they have like 300 kids in a school, that's a lot of money, right? That the school's getting. Okay, well, let's be real here. What they're trying to do in the United States and for homeschooling, like, I think it would be awesome. Okay, this is what you're going to do. We're going to give you the money, the parent, and then be like, you could go, if you and like 5 parents came together, it was like $12,000. You could get one tutor, one teacher for everything. And they wouldn't have to be indoctrinated, and they would not have to have like this, you know what I mean? Like, that's the future, man. We need to, if we want to do it, because we cannot trust our government institutions anymore. That's just me. That's where I'm at. So
I see. Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like that more and more. Yeah, I mean, me and Devon were talking about, obviously Devon's like a moderate left winger, and even he was saying that it's right. All of our institutions really have been,
co-opted.
co-opted. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is that a lot of people are trying to, a lot of the further left people are trying to sort of fight back and say, we're not teaching them CRT directly. Well, first of all, they are trying to do that. So, yeah, okay, they're not directly teaching them the subject of CRT or CR, or CT, sorry, critical theory. But they are, what was the expression you used earlier?
Critical race applied praxis. So what they're doing, critical race theory is based off of critical theory, which is taught in law schools. That they are correct when they say they're not teaching critical race theory. No, they're actually applying it. So it's crap. And thank you, Tim Pool and his fans, which I'm a fan of Tim Pool as well, but that's where I heard this term. They kind of came up with it in the moment on one of his previous Timcasts. And you're literally, man, that's the issue. Is they're putting it into practice. They're literally going, white people are objectively racist. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
That's it.
They've done it with my child.
Because what they're trying to say is, so this is the problem. The left is saying the system is fucked. The right is saying the system is fucked. And they're both right, but for different reasons. But the thing is, the way the left is going about it is not honest. It's not trying to be honest. At least the right, at least my version and my mindset of what I think, if I'm considered right wing, I don't know. But I think, yes, there's something seriously wrong here, but it's not that it's racism. It's that they're creating racism and manifesting it so that we fight each other and we don't look at the government anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just found this article, which I'll try and put in when I edit this. And I just thought this was rich because definitely Americans won't know about this, but I also don't think a lot of English people and Scots will know about this. So over the last 3 or 4 years, they've sort of been trying to like squeeze out the last of the Welsh language. So obviously Wales is one of the 4 bigger nations of the United Kingdom, population of around 3 million, I think. And they have their own language. Like most Welsh people just speak English, but I would say probably a quarter of them, a fifth of them maybe, speak Welsh, which is an old Gaelic language. And they basically began pushing it out, oh, you don't really need that or whatever. Well, at the moment, the Welsh government, because although the UK's main government, which is, for all of the union, is conservative, we have fully devolved countries here. So Wales has their government and a shadow government. Scotland has their government and a shadow government. And then they're given out their money and they can do what they want with it. And in Wales, they have a Labour government, which would be, the further left caucuses in the Democrat Party in the States. Well, right here, Black history lessons to be made mandatory in Welsh schools. All children will be taught about racism and the contributions of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic communities, the Education Minister of Wales has said. Almost 35,000 people have called for Britain's colonial past to be taught in school lessons. It already is. Under changes to the new curriculum, the teaching of BAME. Do you guys have BAME? Or did you say BIPOC?
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, obviously, I am indigenous here, so we can't use the indigenous bit. So we call it BAME, which is something like Black and minority ethnic. The teaching of BAME histories will be mandatory, Kirsty Williams said. She is a Labour education minister in Wales. Miss Williams, she's not married, said it would help pupils become informed citizens of the world. It would help pupils become informed citizens of the world. However, I'm going to pronounce this in my best Welsh accent. Plaid Cymru argued, which is the sort of Welsh nationalistic government, argued the changes were not included in the school curriculum law passed in the Senate last week, which is Welsh for Senate, but instead in a code which could be changed or got rid of by ministers. The Welsh government said this was this is so far because Plaid Cymru is also left wing. These are two left wing Welsh governments arguing now. The Welsh government said this was incorrect, and the teaching of BAME stories would be required in every school. Wales' new curriculum, set to be introduced in 2022, is based on 6 areas of learning and experience and does not set out exactly what schools should be teaching. And then if I skip down, it says, following the worldwide protests after the tragic murder of George Floyd in U.S. police custody.
Saint. He is a saint to these people.
I'm sorry, okay, he's a saint. There were calls for greater recognition of Wales' role in colonialism and slavery. Wales, a country that is like 3 or 4% of the UK. I mean, are you kidding? This would be like saying we would like to recognise the tragic effect that Rhode Island had on the Civil War. Like,
Yeah.
what? What effect? Yeah, fine, a couple of people from Rhode Island fought in the Civil War.
Yeah.
But what did Rhode Island... Anyway, so they're saying that. Professor Charlotte Williams, who led a working group set up by the Welsh Government to look at how BAME contributions through history was taught in schools, said there was considerable evidence of racial inequality in Wales' education system.
Oh, my God.
She said the new curriculum was an opportunity for significant racial change, and it was the right of every child to learn about histories and contributions that have shaped the Welsh nation. And I won't read any more, but what I will just say is that, listen, we are all...
It's a shame.
It is. We are all taught about Britain's past. I don't really think anymore that we're taught about the good things that we did, mainly just the bad, but we do get taught about that. What they're trying to do here, this is pure virtue signaling, because Wales, I love Welsh people, great country, but they're not a huge country. Talking about Wales' effect on colonialism is an absolute joke. Like, it is offensive, like crazy, especially to the Welsh people that are losing their own very, very special culture. Like
Mhm.
they have the Welsh culture. It's
Well,
more,
this is literally what white supremacists. That's what I'm saying. The left has never changed. Identity politics, identitarianism, never about the individual. They are constantly because they run out of things to fight for. And then because of America and our influence across the world, all these other lefty commie types, like we're
yeah,
like, oh, they're making money over there. They're getting this done. And it's like what they use the term whitewashing. Well, they're woke washing history. That's what they're doing.
yeah,
They're woke washing everything to make it look like the world was racist. And it's like, yeah, dude, what do you think? The world's perfect? Do you think every
mm,
country's ever made great decisions? Talk about the problems, but don't make it like was Britain racist when they were colonizing? No, they just wanted power. They wanted more
yeah,
land. And they were like,
yeah.
we're going to conquer you, dude, because we can. And because they did, now that's racist. It's not, they weren't thinking dirty. I'm sure eventually it was like those dirty brown bastards or whatever, because that's just what culturally clashing, they make up terms and they hate each other. Like, did the Indians have like racial terms for Englishmen?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's just like
Also,
like we used to call Indians Native Americans savages, and they would call us like whatever or like gringo for Mexicans. It's like it's whatever.
yeah. And can I just make a point? And
Mhm.
look, I love the Native American culture. It's fascinating. Many parts of it are beautiful.
Yeah.
But when they say savages, they weren't calling them savages because they were being racist. They were calling them savages because they were reasonably
Savage.
civilized. Are used in, or I'll say, like the Europeans, let's say,
Yeah.
maybe not like the Spanish. They were kind of savage, but the northwestern Europeans were fairly civilized. They were going over there, and then they were
Mm.
having their children scalped.
Yeah, but there's also
Hold
like,
on.
listen. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, not just that, many other things that they were not particularly used to experiencing. And so they used the word savage, meaning
Savage.
a sort of foreign person that we don't know much about is treating us, is affecting us badly. And I know that it was the same the other way around, but it's just that was the time. Like in that time, that was the word they used. It wasn't like a racist word.
No, well, that's where the term whiteness was created during the founding, because they never knew what that they the Puritans came along and they were just like they called them the red man, Native Americans, and then they
Mm,
called themselves the white man and whiteness. It was actually kind of used predominantly here in America in those early stages, but it was war. We're taking land, we're taking over, people dying. We did and horrible things happen in war. It is what it is, and people die.
yeah.
And we corrected those mistakes to the best of our ability. I think we still probably got ways to go in certain areas for that. Sure, Native Americans have like serious problems, but we left them to themselves. We said, okay, you have your
Right.
land, you will be in your open air prison. Like I don't know if that's a good idea either, but they can at least leave, go do what they want, spend money the way they want. It's corrupt as hell in there. It's
Oh, I
corrupt.
know.
It's
When I
awful.
can't remember if I told you this yet, but one part of my stay in San Diego, my friend's uncle was a manager of a casino on a res,
Oh yeah.
and
You
so
don't mess
I
around on
experienced a
reses,
lot.
dude.
No, I experienced a lot of the kind of well, how would you describe it? I mean, this was stuff of movies. Like at the end of the week when they were cashing up, if they'd had a good week, the stuff that they brought in for my friend's uncle to take his pick, you would not believe if I told you. I'm not going to say it on here, but obviously there were drugs, every type of drug in a suitcase,
Hmm.
and there were other things brought into the room as well. And he was he was a good man. He was married. He probably still is. Uncle Mike, shout out if you're listening. I know you're not. But he was a good dude, and so he was not accepting of this stuff. But man, like I'm a little this little English kid. I'm like 18, 17 or something. This was crazy to me. So yeah, it's definitely a wild ride in there. But like it'd be interesting to know if and I'm certainly not saying whether this is right or wrong, but if the natives had been had either just been allowed to just be, I guess they are, but just be the same as everyone else, would they have less, drug issues? Would they have less prostitution, less wife beating and stuff like that? Or if you had let them do the same thing, but just given them individual packages, so be like, you can have 2 acres and $20,000.
Right.
Like, I wonder if those two would work better, because I feel like giving them like a third of Oklahoma, or giving them like 158, probably not 150 hectares here and there, I feel like hasn't worked out to the very best. But it's very libertarian in those reservations, man.
No, well, it's not libertarianism. In a way, it is. It can be, but I mean, my God, they're chiefs. These people like make the guys that all run the casinos. Like, dude, they're like it's like a cartel. Like, dude, if you mess, people know if you live around those areas, if you go to a reservation and you mess around, no one's they can't come look for you.
No one could hear you scream.
What?
I said no one can hear you scream.
But the thing is, like, obviously every nation's done their bad thing, but I think what they're trying to teach our children through our history is it's always been bad, and we always known it's been bad. We every single step along the way we've known. That's not true. They're like you said, people's kids were getting scalped. They went crazy. As you could say, they went savage. They went loco. They decided to say, "Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Okay, well, here's my guns while you got bows and arrows, and we're gonna go mess you up. Like, how about that?" And then the Indians, then the natives got guns, and then they were able to fight back. And then you had what was it? What was the famous one? Doesn't matter. Colonel Custard. He basically got decimated.
Custer.
Custer. Yeah, Custard. Yeah. It's but there's a Crazy Horse and all those guys, dude. They were magnificent warriors. You have to respect their spirit. And we were the first use of chemical warfare or biological warfare with like smallpox and all that stuff. Killed
was that
thousands.
on purpose? I didn't think that was on purpose.
As far as I've always understood it, it's been on purpose.
Sorry, man. I keep interrupting, but like, I'm pretty sure we didn't have germ theory in 1620. Like, germ theory was invented.
They knew about people getting sick, bro. And you can pass it to each other.
But did they know enough about how to like put a petri dish of smallpox into a blanket?
No, someone had smallpox.
A blanket.
What smallpox? White people can deal with it. It's still dangerous, but when you give it to some species or group of people that have never been exposed to it, it just decimated them. Yeah, sorry. Well, no, animals too, because when they transfer diseases with each other, like it can kill plants, all sorts of things.
Well, I will take that from you. You're an American and I'm not. I just thought that was like a lefty kind of.
No, they it was the first use of. It's considered in war in modern times to be the first use of a biological agent. So like, it's not. It's biowarfare.
Man, if that's true.
Yeah, they had a bunch of people with smallpox. They let them all stay in blankets, and then they gave the blankets, and it was the middle of the winter. They gave the blankets to the Native Americans and people. It's like the Tuskegee experiments where they were testing syphilis on black people and just not telling them. Like, I don't know why. Like, that's crazy, but they did it. Like,
they did it. I'm trying not to laugh right now just because of how horrendous that was. Like the Tuskegee thing. Oh, and also it's funny because Joe Biden confuses the Tuskegee Airmen with the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Oh my God! You know what, dude? I think because how long do we have left right now? Because we probably gone over.
Too long. We should wrap it up soon.
Okay. I just want to say for songs for me, I'm just gonna give one today because I feel like we've been going pretty hard. I would say go check out David Bowie's son. No, my God, why did I just forget it? I just had it. All right, go listen to Tom Waits' "Sins of the Father." How about that? That's a good song.
Okay. And I will go with. Yeah. So I should just quickly say for the people that are new, We usually try and end on a high note because obviously the stuff we're talking about can really get you down, even though it's very important to talk about it with friends and family and your kids' teachers and stuff. So
Don't
we
go
try
to
and end.
school, dude.
So,
Don't go to school. Don't go to college. Don't be educated. You don't need that garbage.
so we try and end on a high note and just give some.
I only need to count to 1. You see?
Anyway, so my music. Oh, these are amazing. I should have given these the other day, but so my musical choices, my songs for people to look up and have a better day. So my first one, very eclectic. My first one is Joe Cocker and Jennifer Warner, "Up Where We Belong."
I like it.
It's a love song. It's kind of cheesy, but I freaking love it. It's such a well-written song. Number 2 is kind of like a Euro trancey synth. That's not really synth. I'm gonna call it like a Euro trancey thing, but I don't really know. I get confused. But it's just a cool song. I promise you'll like it if you like good music. And it's by Quixotic, which is Quixotic, and the song is called Highway Violence. And then my third song is Bob Seger, We've Got Tonight.
I
Maybe
like
I was just
that.
going for the love songs, man.
Dude, there's some good stuff out there for sure. Bob Seger, I've always liked Bob Seger. Neil Diamond, Caroline. You know,
Yeah, that's the
ba,
English
ba,
football song. That's the English
ba,
football song.
like, dude, yeah, I love that. So good, so good. That's what we play at Red Sox Stadium. That's like the Red Sox song, the
Oh,
Boston Red Sox.
crazy.
Yeah, that's like every time you go, Caroline gets played. It's like tradition. Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Dude, it's so good.
Yes.
Uh,
Give me a
Make that
movie.
my
Give
second
me a
song.
movie.
A movie I watched recently, which I would say it's okay, Tomorrow War. I would say go check it out. It's actually not terrible. It's okay. It's on Amazon Prime if you have it. That's the only place you can find it. So most people have
Okay.
Amazon.
Yeah, that's cool. My film is another really obvious one because I did Citizen Kane in the first episode. But I just think people forget how good it is, even though there is one aspect of the film that does let it down in this day and age. But all the acting and the script, and especially at the time, man, like it had a serious effect on people. And that is Jaws.
Dude, I love that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Honestly, screw the Tomorrow War. Go watch Strange Encounters of a Third Kind by another Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg. Really, have you watched that before?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not for a long time.
I like it because it's good. It's just like it really gets into the fear and the psychology of like a small town like dealing with this.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Steven Spielberg is so good. I don't know what happened to him, but oh my God, Jaws is so good, man. Every time.
Yeah.
Oh, the black guys are those eyes.
Yeah. What
I
is that
fucking,
accent? I don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
is.
Cockney? I don't know. I'm just making up
No,
words. I don't know anything.
no. I mean,
I think it's
yeah.
English. I think he
It
is
was so
English or Scottish or something.
yeah. No, he is English. What was his name? Robert something maybe. I don't know. Great actor though. But like, I think he was trying to do uh like a Cape Cod ish accent
I
because it's
don't.
not really Cape Cod, but
Well, the people. No, I'm telling you right now. Like you go up to those Maine, because I think it takes place in Cape Cod, Maine. But like we're like that whole region's real, dude. Go to northern Maine. Oh my God! Like they don't have a different language. They
yeah,
use like they don't talk like Americans. Like they
yeah,
call like when they're like you're arguing and you're trying to like you're hashing, you're debating over a price. They're like, why are you dickering me, man? Why are you dickering me? And it's like you're dickering between each other. It's like crazy. They use all these weird terms, things that don't exist, and they have really strange accents because it's kind of Canada and
yeah. It's
all
so
this
far
weird stuff.
north.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about like I think it's called the Virginia Bank or the Virginia Banks or something, and something like that. But anyway, those people speak their accent is 100% the accent of Southeast England, even today. Like I saw a
It's insane.
documentary, and it was like I thought it would be close, but I thought they've been there for 400 years because these guys are like the original like George. Is it George? Was it Georgetown, the first town in America, or Jamestown or George?
Jamestown.
Yeah. And so, maybe not that early. They were definitely around that age, and they came from southeast England, which is where the Rhotic R comes from, so car instead of car. And but anyway, they just sound exactly like southwest English people, even today, which is absolutely mind blowing. Anyway, yeah, black eyes look at those eyes.
Yeah, look at those eyes.
Such an amazing speech. The speech
500
about the
men went in
Indianapolis.
the water.
Yeah.
200 men came out of the water. Like, it's just like, it's so good, dude. I can't do accents, but that's how good that movie is. I can almost get it. All right. Well, hey, what a great show. Please go check out Zoobox podcast. Hey man, if you could like throw a link in the description for us in there. We have my cousin Mike.
My
cousin Mike does sports stuff. My brother Ryan is going to start doing gaming again. Probably never, because he's a lazy piece of shit like myself sometimes. And this is kind of like my other thing instead. And like, I think this could help both channels grow. But yeah, go check out Zoobox. Please. Yeah, because we surpassed them. So get them past us.
Did we?
Yes. We are blowing them by 200 subs. So listen.
Oh, thanks, Devin.
Yeah, thank you, Devin, Tracy, again. So go check that. Go subscribe. Go push their on our stuff too. So yeah, that's it for us, I guess, this week, man. You got the power, dog.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, and we're actually doing it. Yeah, we will see you later on today and later on this week. So thanks a lot, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish.